All right, the next slide, again, is a big picture. I really wanted you guys to see what we deal with because it's so huge. I mean, it's huge. But we really believe that a lot of people say, oh, you're internet marketers, that means that you're taking away my job as an old-fashioned traditional marketer. And we're saying if you can afford marketing and advertising, do everything you can afford. In other words, if you can afford a TV commercial, there's still a lot of people watching TV commercials. So don't stop, don't let us stop you from doing that. I think what we like to do is have a dashboard to measure if you do a TV commercial, how does that lift your search results? If you do a TV commercial, how long does that lift work for you before you stop, before that lift starts dropping? The same thing with radio commercials. If you do radio in prime spots and you're buying media, that's not a bad thing. But let's look at how you integrate it. For example, if you do direct mail postcards, brochures, how can we link that to your website? How does that message, do you put your URL down there? Does the message continue onto that landing page? So if you do traditional media, don't waste that click. Go and try to integrate that into the website so that the offer is consistent. So when we run a campaign for our client, some of our clients say, I need a postcard. So we say, great, but then what's the offer? And then when they land there, they should see the offer. So that it's not a wasted, so that you have them go to the website for more information, and then you can get maybe some information from them, which is maybe their phone number, maybe their address, whatever you want, so that you can call them and make a sale or invite them in for some more business. So it's all related to business. So you have your print, regular advertising, magazines, newspapers, any other verticals that you want to advertise in. We don't say it's a bad thing. We say it's a good thing. But, if you can't afford it, internet marketing is cheaper in the long run. Marketing collateral like brochures, TV, direct mail, trade shows. And one other thing that we shouldn't not remember is the networking events. I mean, that's how I met your teacher, but that's how I meet a lot of people. Networking is still a really good thing. The difference is the reach of me talking to you today is limited compared to my reach on the internet, where we're actually an international global company. So there you're open to the whole world. Here you're open to just whoever is in this room. So it's different. So what we look at is cross-channel. So we have the relationship of the search marketing. As I said, that's probably the first thing you start with. Then if you have a client list, you go to email, media planning, social marketing, and obviously you can do affiliate marketing in that arena. Now, the last slide I have here is basically showing you how, this is a campaign that we did for a client of ours to show how it really works with a real client. Basically, you start with step one, and basically step one, there were a couple of pieces of that, and we used, instead of, I think I told you about Symphony, we used BuzzLogic. BuzzLogic is another one of those tools that's out there that can go onto the blogosphere and see what the demographics are and find an audience. Basically, this was what we call a word-of-mouth marketing campaign. Word of mouth is basically as old as the hills. Word of mouth is, I have something good, I share it with someone, they share it with someone else, and so forth, and that's how some products have gotten out there because of word of mouth. They're so great, people talk about them, and the buzz gets created. Well, online, you have one additional component. You accelerate that word of mouth by using the tools that are out there. So the first thing we did was we scanned the blogosphere to find out who we needed a target audience, because word-of-mouth marketing online sometimes can include products, real products, and also the blogosphere. So you're combining the old-fashioned giveaways. If you give somebody a product and say, use my product, then they become an advocate for that product if they like it. So the word-of-mouth marketing does that. There was a campaign in California for wine. This Australian company came out with a new wine. A very geeky kind of thing where they gave it to all the people who were in Silicon Valley blogging. They gave it to a group of bloggers. And every time they had a party, they gave them, 10, 20 bottles. Well, in the blogosphere, it got so big that they ended up selling 100,000 bottles in a very short time because of that initial buzz that got around there just by giving some product out to people who they knew were going to blog about it. So that's what this whole thing is about. So anyway, we had a product that would go to business people. It was a small device that was good for business people in the price point that they had a new product out on the market. So that's what our intent was. So again, we figured out who the evangelists were, who the ones that were going to spread the word, and who could use this product, and we would identify 50 people who would do that. On the website, we made sure that we had the keywords that were based on if people were going to search later, those keywords would be there, the product would be there, and everything was optimized fully for that product. So when the hit came, a lot of people for TV, for example, your TV infomercials, the website doesn't have what you need on the website, so it doesn't corroborate with what you're thinking is going to happen, and so it's a lost moment where you could have maybe done something else which would have been better. So we make sure that the contextual advertising, everything is in sync. We did some display advertising as well. We had information on Flickr and YouTube, videos on the product, etc., and they were keyword tagged. They were all optimized correctly. And finally, we submitted some information on Dig, Propeller, and PR Web. PR Web is basically online multimedia press releases, which is another whole thing that I didn't get into, but we do online press releases as well. And that helps. And then we had a free offer, product document, the machine, et cetera, et cetera. And then we had the participants register, and from that registration, we identified 50 influencers. Now, what they were encouraged to do, and again, with social media, you never tell anybody that they have to do anything, because this is a free piece of equipment. They don't have to do it, but we identified them as either people who blogged, people who could submit the project, a picture of it on Flickr, or do some profiles, and also on YouTube and endorsements. And a campaign like this works very, very well because if you orchestrate it correctly, you get really good results. And our client, in fact, we for this particular client, we identified a widget that we were going to build, but they didn't get their act together. Turns out Microsoft built the exact widget. So they lost the opportunity. So it must have been a good idea if Microsoft decided to do it. So basically, that's it. Basically, I just wanted to show you that what we do usually has a strategy. We start with a marketing plan. We build out the website and the web presence to match that plan. We do all the marketing. We do all the analytics. And then, basically, we also have a tactical approach where we actually look at programs and keep working with those projects, because the Internet is live. Basically, what happens 6 months ago may not happen 2 months from now. There may be something else that comes out and takes over, and our job is to always know what's coming out and how it affects everything else that we've been doing, because it may play a role that may all of a sudden make search obsolete. We don't know that. But if it does, then you've got to be ready to move and change your tactics and strategy to protect your clients, but also to be current and understand what's going on.